So before I tell my story, I have to preface it by saying that I was very young, and it was a very emotional experience for me, and I only recently became okay with telling the story. A couple of months ago, I got really drunk and told one of my friends the story, and I kind of expected sympathy. Instead, she laughed her ass off. And that's when I realized that it actually is really funny, and I'm no longer in love with the young man, so I can laugh about it too now. But this is the story of how I fell in love with a young man who had a rat tail. For those of you who aren't aware, a rat tail is a beautiful hairdo in which a young man, it's like a toned-down mullet. It's business in front and a long string of hair on the back, kind of like a Jedi Knight. Rat tails were big when we were kids, but you know, once you got to high school, it became less and less socially acceptable. Kyle Crawford had his rat tail all the way through high school. My friends would say to me, "Megan, you cannot have a crush on this boy. He has a rat tail." And I would say, "It's beautiful. He lets me braid it sometimes." Anyway, when I was in high school, I was sort of a sexual pariah. My school was small, I was kind of nerdy, I really didn't get any. So I had to focus my sexual attentions on people I knew outside of school. Unfortunately, my main activity was musical theater. And I don't know if you know this, but there aren't a lot of eligible straight men in musical theater. Kyle was there, he was eligible, he was straight, he had a girlfriend. I was in love with him for years. Now, I heard from a friend of a friend that he didn't actually like his girlfriend. He was only staying with her because his mother liked her. So I thought, okay, this is my summer. Musical theater camp, I'm gonna make my move. Well, I was 16, I didn't have a lot of moves. So mostly we had a lot of tickle fights. They were very sexually charged tickle fights. It was extremely emotional for me. I thought we were about to get married. It was magical time in my life. At this point in time, I had not had my first kiss, so I was looking forward to that with Kyle. Now, the show comes around, the end of the camp show, and you have to imagine this. It's backstage, it's dark. You're supposed to stay in your nesting area while you're not on stage, which is like pillows and blankets. So 200 teenagers in a dark, silent area, you can imagine what went on. So Kyle and I had nesting areas next to each other, and there were couples making out all around us, and I think this is my chance. So we're tickle fighting. It's getting intense. I'm winning. I have two younger siblings, so I know how to win a tickle fight. And he's getting angry that I'm winning, and he says, "You know, Megan, if you keep doing that, I'm gonna grope you," as if it's a punishment. And I'm thinking, hell yeah! Now, so I, of course, ratchet up whatever it was that I was doing that was making him angry. And he gropes me. And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna kiss, it's gonna be magical, we're gonna go out. Then we go on stage and the show sort of ends and he goes back to his high school and I go back to mine and I don't really see him. But I'm thinking like, well, we got to second base, come on, there's something here. So I make up all these excuses to call him. You know, history review sessions, to ask him if he's gonna audition for the next community theater play. Not only is he never home when I call without fail every Thursday before the history review session, he also never returns any of my phone calls. So I eventually realized that he actually does like his girlfriend, Carolyn Gunstream, and we are not about to get married, and I get over it. It was fine, I loved him, but I got over it. Later, after he's broken up with Carolyn, I sort of expected him to call me. No call, nothing like that. But Carolyn Gunstream did once get hit by a deer. Not her car hit a deer, she was walking and the deer, honest to God, ran up and hit her. So this is the young woman that Kyle Crawford chose over me. But anyway, that's the story of how, when I was 16, I got to second base before I had my first kiss, and I fell in love with a young man with a rat tail.